Good morning, world. I am Judy, your web-based therapist, making therapy accessible and convenient for our clients in Florida and New York, and of course, sharing information worldwide. Today, I want to talk about 5 questions to keep in mind for your mental health checkup. Usually around the end of the year, I talk about mental health checkups or mental health check-in because it's something that I believe we should be looking into just because every year many of us take the time to get an annual physical checkup, but we don't do an annual mental health checkup. And that's why today we're talking about 5 questions to keep in mind for your mental health checkup. But before I get into that, I want to take a quick moment and say, if you are subscribed, thank you so much for being a part of our awesome world. And if you're not yet subscribed, please take a moment and click the subscribe button below so that you can join all this awesomeness. And remember to tick the bell so that you are notified when I post new videos so you don't miss anything. And of course, if you'd like to purchase 1 or 3 of my books, there's also a link below that will take you to a site that shows you your different options for getting 1 or 3 of my books. All right, let me get back to it. The first thing is, where are you now? You need to take a moment and do an assessment of where are you? Where is your mental health? Your stress level, your emotional well-being, everything dealing with your mental health, just taking the time to have that assessment and figure out, okay, what is happening with you? How are you managing your stress? How are you managing your emotional well-being? How is your mental health? Especially right now or after the last couple of years, many of us are not exactly in our best space. The last couple of years have been very hard on many of us, and depression and anxiety have increased for many people, whether they've never experienced or had any issues with depression or anxiety before, and especially so for people who have a history of having dealt with maybe depression or anxiety in the past, or were dealing with anxiety or depression when this whole mess of 2020, 21, now moving into 22 started. So take a moment and figure out where you are now. What is going on? The second question is where do you want to be? Once you take the time to assess where you are and figure out, okay, what is going on with you emotionally? How are you managing your mental health? How is your mental health? It's important to take the time to just think about it. Where do you want to be? Is your mental health the way you want it to be? Is there something that you would like to improve? Is there something that maybe you do an assessment and you find out and you discover that, you know what, I'm doing well. Things are exactly as I want them to be. There's nothing I want to change. There's nothing that's not the way I want it. And that will be fine if that's the result of your assessment. But asking where you want to be is another way to make sure that, hey, if something is not where you want it to be, that way you can start taking the steps, start putting together some, action steps in order to help you get to that space where you want to be. Maybe it is, but maybe you're doing so great you don't want anything to change, but maybe there's a minor issue that you are struggling with that you would like to improve. Maybe there's something you'd like to learn how to do better. One thing many of us often struggle with is stress management. At the end of the day, maybe you want to improve on how you do it. So it's an opportunity to check in, see what's going on, make sure that it is where you want it to be so that if it's not, you can start making plans. Which brings me to number 3. If things are not where you want to be, what are you prepared to invest? There are a lot of resources. There are always a lot of resources, and we often talk about those. Especially, I have shared a video on how to get free therapy. I've also shared a different video on using your employee assistance programs, which is something I highly recommend people you do towards the end of the year, especially if your company's if your company's benefits year ends at the end of December. I often encourage people to use them before they expire. So what are you prepared to invest? This may be that you're increasing your fitness or your workout schedule to help you manage stress. Maybe it is something that you need to get professional assistance with. What exactly are you willing to invest? What are you prepared to invest? There's really no right or wrong answer. It's a matter of, what does this mean to you? How important is this to you? And how important is it important enough to you that you're willing to make an investment? Maybe the investment you're willing to do is just, hey, I'll see a therapist once a week, but I'm not willing to put in the work the rest of the week. Or maybe your investment is, I'm prepared to work out an extra day to help me keep my stress level down. Whatever it is, do an honest assessment of what investment you're willing to do or you're willing to make in order to get your mental health to where you want it to be. 4, what resources do you have? We often have a lot more resources than we think. People often, whenever you talk about mental health, one of the first things people bring up is how expensive it is. Healthcare, especially in this country, healthcare, it can be costly, but there are resources that are available to make it more affordable, to help people get more access to services, to resources that they need, that they want. So what resources do you have? Maybe the one resource may be that your job provides a great employee assistance program. Maybe a resource could be that your health insurance has low copays for mental health. Whatever, just take the time to assess the resources available to you. A resource can be something as maybe a friend that you can work out something with, where you guys work out together, take the time to do life-affirming activities together, take the time to do something to help you improve your mental health while you're helping them do the same thing. Whatever it is, take the time and figure out what resources are available to help you get to the level where you need to be. And finally, what barriers do you face? Especially when it comes to healthcare, we can't ignore the fact that there may be barriers that are in your way, but taking the time to assess what those barriers are can help you get to the point where you are able to manage them, to remove them, to sidestep them, to get around them, to find ways so that you're still able to get access to the resources. You're still able to get the help that you need in spite of or after removing these barriers. So take the time and figure out what exactly is it that may be impacting your mental health negatively, so that you could figure out, okay, what do I need to do in order to remove this barrier so that, you could get to the ideal mental health state that you want to be. Okay, let me do a quick recap. 1, assessing where you are now, because you need to know where you are, what your starting point is in order to move forward from there. 2, where do you want to be? Maybe you are exactly where you want to be, but just in case you're not, determine where you want to be and how you want things to be so that you can, start making a plan to move it to where you want to be. And 3, what are you prepared to invest? Anytime you want to make a change, there will be an investment. So really take the time and do an honest assessment of the investment you're willing to make. 4, what resources do you have? We have a lot more resources than we often think about. So take a moment and just and again, I keep saying assessment. Do an assessment. What resources are available? Insurance or EAP or whatever resources are there or maybe there for you. And of course, look at what barriers may have been in your way so that you can start looking at ways to remove those barriers, because they may have caused the difficulty in the past, but that does not mean that now that you have realized that, hey, this is in my way, you can't do anything to remove them. So, because barriers can be removed, barriers can be sidestepped, barriers can be jumped over. So, yeah. That's about it. As always, if you or someone you know happens to be going through something that's more than you can handle, please remember that there are professionals like myself who are available, able, and willing to help, and are even providing remote services who can assist with whatever you may have going on. So please figure out who those people are in your community so that if you need them, you can reach out and get the help that you need. And that is all we have for today. Good morning, world. Have an awesome day.